So this morning, we're having something that a lot of UU congregations have come to have regularly. We don't have it regularly, but when we do, it's a very special day. The Flower Communion service originated in the years of the Czechoslovak Republic before the Second World War. Reverend Dr. Norbert Čapek, who was born on June the 3rd, 1870, and died in October 1942, was a former Baptist minister and journalist who founded the Unitarian Church in Prague in 1921. He felt that the traditional Christian communion service with bread and wine was unacceptable to many of the members of his congregation because of their strong reaction against the Catholic faith. And so they associated the bread and wine communion with Catholicism, and they didn't want it in their church. And so he turned to the native beauty of their countryside for elements of a new communion, which would be genuine to them. It became one of their most significant services, and it was soon introduced in other Unitarian congregations. And so Jezebel is now going to share the story of Norbert Čapek.
In 1938, Hitler's armies invaded the country then known as Czechoslovakia. Throughout the years of the 1938 to 1945 war, terrible suffering was inflicted upon the ministers and peoples of all the churches in that country. The Czech National Church had a liberal Hussite tradition, and among the other denominations were the Unitarians, whose church in Prague and other cities had been founded by the Reverend Dr. Norbert Čapek. Čapek originated from Radomysl, a small village in the southern part of what was then known as Bohemia. He came from a poor family, and after leaving school, he trained as a tailor. But his great love was religion, religious ideas, and church communities. He was converted to the Baptist Church and eventually trained as a Baptist minister. His ministerial work was successful, but under the influence of various teachers and writers, including lectures from the great preacher of the social gospel, Walter Rauschenbusch, he became more and more convinced that Christianity should have a distinctly social message, that God was to be regarded as a parent of the human family. The human Jesus was our elder brother, and that our task was to create a new and better society for everyone. He also had a strong sense of the mystery of God. One of his hymns begins, Mother Spirit, Father Spirit, and the last verse is, where are you? In the sky song, in the forest, sounds your cry. What to give you, what to call you, what am I? Mother Spirit, Father Spirit, take our hearts. Take our breath and let our voices sing our parts. Take our hands and let us work to shape our art. As his religious ideas became increasingly liberal, he joined and became active in an international religious organization now called the International Association for Religious Freedom, IARF, founded in 1900 by Unitarians. At the 1910 Berlin IARF Congress, he met active Unitarians, including officers of the American Unitarian Association. Čapek also attended congresses in London, Copenhagen, Boston, and Oxford. He left Czechoslovakia for a while, living and working in America as a journalist. There he encountered Unitarian ideas and made contact with Unitarian headquarters. But soon he returned to his homeland. With the support of the American Unitarian Association and later support from British Unitarians, he was able to establish a new religious movement. It flourished with large congregations and an active children's program. were many ex-Catholics who were reacting strongly against the Catholic faith. They had come to find the traditional communion service with bread and wine unacceptable. Feeling that they needed some sort of communion ceremony, Chopek turned to the native beauty of their countryside for elements of a communion service that could be meaningful to them. The flower communion soon became one of their most significant services, and under his inspiring leadership, that new liberal religious movement flourished in Prague and elsewhere in the country. Small of stature, Chopek was nevertheless acclaimed as one of the country's leading orators. He wrote more than 90 hymns, often composing the music as well as the words. When it became clear, however, that the Nazis would invade Czechoslovakia, Chopek's friends urged him to leave the country. His wide reputation as a religious liberal, his activities as a hymn writer, newspaper editor, preacher, teacher, and lecturer put him in a very dangerous position. He refused to go, but his wife Maya left at the last moment. Chopek continued his work, which became more and more and more risky. Reverend Eric Price takes up the story. He writes, "Because of the monotheistic beliefs of the Unitarians, he was able to accept into membership a number of Jews who would otherwise have been rounded up by the Gestapo. This gave them precious time in which to plan their escape from the country. When after 2 years his merciful plan was discovered, Dr. Chopek, along with his daughter Zora, was arrested. She for the crime of listening to the BBC on the radio, and he for the same offense and for high treason. Several of his sermons were cited as evidence of the latter charge. Listening to foreign broadcasts was a capital offense under the Nazi protectorates." Eventually, Chopek was sent to Dachau concentration camp, Zora to a labor camp. Almost a year after his arrest, Chopek's name appears among prisoners sent on October 12, 1942, to Hartheim Castle near Linz, Austria, where he died of poison gas. Before his death, Dr. Chopek's courage in the face of torture and starvation was a source of inspiration to his fellow prisoners. Some of those who survived testified that the Unitarian leader could not have been sent to a place where he was needed more than in the camp of Dachau. Fortified by his words and examples, the prisoners held on, despite the grim agonies of the camp, which was to live in history as a horrible example of Nazi bestiality. When news of Dr. Chopek's death reached America in 1945, the then president of the American Unitarian Association, Dr. Frederick May Elliott, wrote, "Another name is added to the list of heroic Unitarian martyrs by whose death our freedom has been bought." Since that time, many of our Unitarian churches in America have celebrated this flower communion. In 1965, Reverend Eric Price brought a version of the service and the story of Norbert Chopek to Britain. Since then, an increasing number of our congregations have held this service annually. It is held partly for its own intrinsic beauty, partly as a symbolic expression of giving and receiving in our worship together as a congregation, and now also a fitting memorial to Norbert Chopek, who created this service in happier days. So on the day of which we celebrate the beauty of our world in flowers, rejoice in all that we can give and receive from our freedom to worship together as our hearts and mind prompt us. And as at a time when we can see greater freedoms have returned to what is now the Czech Republic and other parts of Europe, this occasion has also become for us a kind of a Unitarian Saints' Day. His life of service reached its climax in great courage in the face of appalling tragedy. We shall remember him in our worship when we share the beauty of our flowers. During the final hymn, we shall come around the rows with the flowers collected this morning. I ask that you select a flower different from the one you brought and that particularly appeals to you. As you take your chosen flower, notice its particular beauty, its shape, and remember to handle it carefully. It is a gift that someone else has brought to you. It represents that person's unique humanity and therefore deserves your kindest touch. Let us share quietly in this Unitarian Universalist ritual of oneness and love. The hymn that we'll be singing is our closing hymn, number 66, When the Summer Sun is Shining. And Arwen, Taimee, and Michaela will be delivering these flowers of love, beauty, remembrance, and communion.
Anybody missing one? Everybody got a flower? Joe didn't get one. Give one to Joe. Could we all join in reading in the insert in your order of service the Flower Communion prayer to conclude our Flower Communion? And this is the prayer that was written by Reverend Chapek. Infinite Spirit of life, we ask thy blessing on these thy messengers of fellowship and love. May they remind us, amid diversities of knowledge and of gifts, to be one in desire and affection, and in devotion to thy holy will. May they also remind us of the value of comradeship, of doing and sharing alike. May we cherish friendship as one of thy most precious gifts. May we not let awareness of another's talents discourage us or sully our relationship, but may we realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of all of us are needed to do thy work in this world. And our closing words come from the great Indian poet Rabindranath Tagore. God grows weary of great kingdoms, but never of little flowers. Go in peace, believe in peace, create peace.